From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
This week, the outstanding news stories of the nation's women are unusual indeed. I'm Betty Gray, and I'm going to bring you on-the-spot pictures of the activities of the so-called weaker sex. But before we bring you these new and different stories, I want to urge you to listen to this exclusive news.
Cruising around in search of some famous faces this week, our cameraman decided on the Queen Elizabeth as a good place to find some. And was he lucky? Clifton Webb was aboard, but he ducked off the ship too soon for our man. He caught Anna Naegel, though, and her husband, Herbert Wilcox. They had no objection to being shot as long as it was with a camera. Anna is en route to Montreal for the premiere of her new picture, Odette. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Who said there was a rift in this fabulous marriage? If this is incompatibility, I'll take some too. The former King Edward VIII has been in France the past few weeks transacting business, and his American wife, for whom he renounced his throne, has been visiting in this country. Gossips put two and two together and decided there must be trouble in the Windsor household, but the Duchess assured feature writer Marjorie Farnsworth of the New York Journal-American the rumors are false. The Duke concurred, and they certainly don't have the appearance of an estranged couple. Looks as if the rocking chair brigade will have to find another topic of conversation. The Duke and his Duchess are together again. There was a time when golf was considered a game for men only. Nowadays, the women are making a name for themselves as professionals. Instead of using her delicate wrist movement on the handle of a broom, the modern wife puts it into action on the shaft of a golf club. When a man wants an afternoon off with the boys in the office, he'd better not go to the golf course. He'll find his wife out there, along with the wives of his co-workers, and the wives will probably beat them too if they're challenged to a little game. Our housewife still has chores with an iron, but it's usually a mashie, niblick, or a putter. Golf's a game where the women can talk to their heart's content without interfering with the game. Maybe that's why they find it enchanting. Women golfers usually are excellent putters, and this is where a game can be won or lost. Missing a putt is nothing to worry about, though. It even happens to Babe Dietrichson occasionally.
Our household hint this week takes care of two different situations. First, we have the problem of dry heat caused by your heating system in the winter. When subjected to dry heat, fur has a tendency to become brittle, and sometimes the hairs will shed. Here's the remedy. All you need is a dish and a sponge. Saturate the sponge with water, pouring off the excess water. This wet sponge will furnish the necessary moisture to keep the furs in good condition, and not enough moisture to harm the other clothing. And now for the opposite condition. If you live in a moist climate and your problem is mildew on your shoes and bags, the remedy is simple. If the mildew is there, clean with a small pad of cotton soaked in vinegar. To prevent mildew, snap on the closet light and leave it burning during moist seasons. Since the closet is enclosed, even that much heat has a drying effect.
Sally Green has been jumping around a tennis table for 10 years, and during that time she's grabbed off quite a few honors. She's won the United States Table Tennis Singles title 5 times and currently holds the United States Mixed Doubles Championship with John Leach of London, England. You have to be good to keep up with Sally. Sally took up table tennis after she was injured and at the age of 17 won her first national title. She defended her championship successfully 5 straight years, but retired in 1945 because of illness. She says she'll probably enter the exhibition field next. America's hairstylists have changed their minds again. Women didn't take to the chignon as enthusiastically as they were expected to. the hairstylists have come up with the new high collar length bob, which is flattering to more women than the chignon is. They're blaming the chignon on the Paris fashion houses, and whoever's to blame, it's obvious the shorter length is more practical, and it's still feminine. Something nice for the matronly type. It combines a youthful appearance with the dignity that is the matron's most valuable asset. Another new trend in hairstyles you'll notice is the wave. Looks almost like the old Marcel made with a curling iron, but it's softer. Waves predominated in the coiffures shown by the Hair Fashion Committee of the National Hairdressers Association at their recent style show. Like it? You know what a friend said to me the other day? If a woman asks you if you like her hair that way, brother, beware. She's got matrimony under her permanent. And then there's Cornelia Otis Skinner's bright crack. She was permanently waved, both as to hair and figure. Women and their styles, whether hair or dress, are always a good target for a joke. But they should worry when they look the way they do. Now, who'd mind if she did have matrimony on the brain? The hairdressers call these coiffures for after 5 o'clock appearances. Personally, I don't mind if the dolls wear them all day long. They'd look good anytime, and especially at breakfast.
Two National Amateur Athletic Union swimming champs give their arms and legs a workout at the Town Club pool. Maureen O'Brien is backstroke champion in the 100 and 200-yard events and the 100 and 200-meter swims. Olympic champion Jackie LaVine holds titles in the 220 and 440-yard freestyle event. Incidentally, did you know this? It's an established fact. The English were the first people of modern civilization to make a sport of swimming. Bet they didn't think of using dumbbells, though, as Maureen's doing. Jackie's going to swim with these 2.5-pound weights in her palms to strengthen her arms. Here's another interesting bit of swimming information you may not know. Swimmers always do their best in soft water. That means clean, fresh water. Swimmers can't make record speeds in dead water, meaning water that's not changed frequently. It has no buoyancy. This must be soft water, judging from the speed Maureen's making. Or maybe she's so good it doesn't matter to her. They're ready to call it a day, but they'll be back for more practice tomorrow. And now here's another news story, which I know will be interesting to all of you.
When the Women's Division of the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies in New York called a conference to study community health and welfare needs, 1,000 delegates responded. Our cameraman talked 4 prominent participants into posing for women in the news, and the New York skyline made a nice backdrop for the scene. They're on the roof of the Hotel Astor. Mrs. Perlman, National Vice President of Hadassah, and Mrs. Markison. Miss Stella Adler, well-known actress, and Mrs. Jessie Asinoff. The Federation's agencies serve nearly 500,000 people of all ages and creeds each year. As we all know, everything is changing fast, and this class in botany at Stevens College proves it. Grandmother, if she studied botany at all, learned all she knew about it in a classroom. Maybe she took an occasional field trip to the park or a nearby field. But this class studies botany from an airplane. Miss Minnie Mae Johnson instructs. This class in the sky was her idea. Botany, it seems, covers more territory than you think. In addition to classroom work and a close-up study of plants, there are other factors, such as the relationship between agriculture and the topography of the soil, the seasonal aspects of vegetation, and plant distribution. Twice a year, the class takes wings and sees botany from a different angle. At first, the students paid the operating expense of the plane. No more, though. It's just a part of the educational routine. School's just not what it used to be.
There's a new deal in the Army and Air Force for the women. It's group enlistment, and here's what it means. Some women hesitated to join when it meant breaking all ties with familiar things. The WAC and the Women's Air Force now offer young women the opportunity to enlist with friends or sisters or entire organizations, and they're guaranteed that they will complete basic training in the same small group, thereby cushioning their entrance into military life. The WAC and WAFF urgently need women to fill the ranks vacated by men called to combat service. Mayor Impellitteri of New York congratulates this group. They're going to get 2 days on the town to launch Group Enlistment Week. First, they get some individual hairstyling, guaranteed to make a gal look glamorous and efficient at the same time. Joanne Austin probably thought her usual hairstyle was just about as becoming as she could get it. But now that she sees herself shaping up with this new chic hairdo, she's getting a surprise. A man designed it too, but then why not? It's the men the women want to please anyhow, isn't it? And anybody'd look good in this hairstyle, any of the women I mean. It pleases Joanne all right. Group enlistment looks like a good idea, especially when they include luncheon at the Penthouse Club as part of the entertainment. After lunch, their next stop is the theater to meet the cast of Kiss Me Kate. So this is the Army, girls, new style. The patriotic women of America won't hang back because of the rough spots, but it's nice to find it's smooth sailing part of the time, especially with the new group enlistment plan. All good things must come to an end. And now it's time for me to remind you of one more interesting story that I know you'll remember and appreciate. Here's my suggestion for the week. I'll be back again next week at the same time over the same station to bring you another national roundup of women in the news.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.